Well, nothing deflates me like doing a 5 minute video or a longer one and realizing that I didn't actually hit the start button. Uh, that just happened, and I don't want to make light of it because This is not a light video. This is a heavy video. Um, you know that I reported here a few days ago that the Israelis bombed Anchiano, Italy, and we didn't, but I never saw any other confirmation of it. Luckily, my son played baseball in Italy for 7 years, and so I was in Italy 3 times a week for 7 years, and I got to know a lot of people. I got a lot of enemies there, a lot of enemies, but also 3 or 4 friends. And my friends have confirmed what happened in Anchiano. I'm cutting out the part about the fat umpire, the guy who couldn't count. But if you know baseball, maybe you'll want to hear this because, 3 strikes and you're out, right? So this guy, this umpire, this fat umpire, and I'm not fat shaming, I'm just describing. Fucking huge. By height, not gargantuan. By girth, gargantuan. Or gargantuan, yeah. And this guy, his biggest problem was he couldn't count. I always felt bad for the umpires. I know you have to hate umpires at the adult level, but not when they're with the kids. You don't want to fuck with the kids umpires. They're doing their best, and they're usually not big baseball people, but or maybe they are. This guy was a baseball person, and he was big, but he couldn't count. And it's really funny to have a kid with 2 strikes on him. Here comes the pitch, strike 3 swinging, and the kid turns around to go to his bench, and the pitcher goes back to the rubber. Get your mind out of the gutter. Goes back to the rubber, and then the umpire calls the kid back to the plate. There's only 2 strikes, man. Or ball 4. Ball 4, you go to first. So here comes a pitch. Oh, it's in the dirt. The kid, kind of smiles and hops towards first, and the umpire calls him back. And nobody did anything about it. That was a funny thing. Nobody complained. They just all looked at each other like, this is fucking weird, Normally, one of the managers would come out. And if it was a good manager, he'd just say, quietly, you got that wrong, and you might want to, not. But nobody did anything. Nobody yelled, nobody whatever. And, by about the 3rd or 4th time it happened, I had somebody teach me how to say in Italian, hey, big fella, you really got to work on your counting, work on your math. I think mathematics, which reminds me of a quote by Rousseau, or actually that he writes about in his Confessions when he sees a prostitute in Italia, and it doesn't go well, and she says, Giovanni, lascia la donna, studia la matematica, You can figure it out, Leave the ladies and study math. Yeah, well, that maybe somebody said that to this guy. Anyway, that's one of the things I remember. But there was also an umpire I really liked a lot. And I liked him so much that, I told him I was writing a book about the season. And I sent him a passage that included him and a strange play that happened, and he said, no, you have it wrong, and I said, well, okay, you write it, tell me your version, and so I have a couple of pages by an umpire, really nice guy, so I have friends there, and I have to tell you that Anchiano, Italy, where Da Vinci was born, was bombed. Unfortunately, the part about the kindergarten was true. 17 children were killed. And also, I don't know the total number of adults, but it's actually over 50. Because in the town, it's a small town, but in the town there was one big apartment block where mostly foreigners lived, and there was a family, 3 generations of Palestinians. and they were just wiped out. There was no relative elsewhere. They had all resettled in Anciano, Italy. Now, I've asked if they could confirm that it had something to do with Da Vinci, because who but an Israeli would be crazy enough to want to go back and bomb some historical figure's town because of something someone did years later, and but nobody can confirm it. They don't know. I mean, and I think most of us don't know really deeply why are they so fucking murderous. I really don't know. Don't you remember October 7th? You see how they did? Yeah, I do, and I was like this on October 7th. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And then after the 2000th child, buried in rubble and dead, pulled out from rubble and dead, October 7th becomes a little less of a big date on my calendar, and October becomes a bigger one, and maybe the fall of 2023. Anyway, so that's, I didn't want to go into politics. I just wanted to confirm my report that Anciano, Italy was bombed. It may or may not have had to do with Da Vinci and his notebooks and the paragliders. I really don't know. I'd like to know, but I don't know. And you would probably like to know, so that that, you could come here, and if I know, you would know. But I don't know, so you come here and you're disappointed that I don't know, and I can see that maybe you might unsubscribe, and hit dislike and unsubscribe. I understand, because I'm not a guy who knows everything. And I don't even pretend. Well, I do sometimes pretend to. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, that's a long story. But I really did. I was bombastic, and somebody needed to be told off, and it had to do with working with a guy in a wheelchair, and it was on behalf of the guy in the wheelchair that I got bombastic, and I shamed a guy. For leaving the guy in the wheelchair in a bad position, and but then I ended it with smiles, and I know you won't fuck up like that again. I know you won't do it again. I know you're a good guy, and I mean it. He is a good guy. So let's hear it for Gregor, okay? Gregor, come on! No more drinking and sleeping before going to work. Okay. Enough. It's been a good day. It's going to continue to be a good day. And I want to thank all of you who wrote me best wishes about my leg. But, that was a year and a half ago. And it's only now that I'm getting a lot of them. But here's the cast from when I ruptured my Achilles. That was a year and a half ago. I'm fine. And the only reason I have that out and this is because we're filming a scene for our movie, Portrait of a Man Drowning, tonight. And, we're doing the Chloe scene. And if you don't immediately have an association, watch the interview with Howard Stern and Vincent Gallo, and you'll get some idea of what the Chloe scene might be like. So that's all I have to say. And I know you have a lot to say. So I'm going to cut it here, and then it'll just be over. It doesn't work the way that it should, I'd love it if this was like a talk show, talk to the world, and you get calls from anybody, somebody in, for instance, Bosnia, or Serbia. Yeah, bem ti matana, hey, pičku ti mater, jebote pas mater, Why are you so mad at me? I'm not. This is just the way we talk. Okay, bye.